Hey everyone, I'm DrHamfist. Let's do this. So we're switching to the beta. The beta is available. You can just swap to it on Steam. It's under like your properties or whatever on the game. A consequence of this, when I switched to beta, all of my statistics in past runs, like the data was messed up, what it was reading, it was showing me that I hadn't beaten a lot of bosses that we've actually beaten on video, like Donu and Dekka, and like the Time Lord thing or whatever. So just to make sure everything made sense, I've just cleared my settings. So what you're going to see now is actually just the new player experience, which means we're playing as Ironclad with like no advantages at all, right? That's all we can do. So this is definitely what we're playing as. And then the question of why we switched to beta, they've added this new system in called Ascension mode, which makes the game more difficult. It's sort of like a hard mode. But it's only available in the beta. So my thought was, oh, well, I'll just switch to beta. And since I've already unlocked all the, like, you have to beat all the bosses to unlock it, right? And since I'd already beat all the bosses, I was like, oh, we'll just, try that out. Well, no, seems like we won't be. But this will actually show off the new player experience because my first video was after I'd already played a bit and gotten the hang of the game. So here, this is the latest shop we can hit. I probably want to hit that. A lot of fights right up here in order to get there. That's fine because it should get us some gold. I want to hit an elite somewhere. There's one. Yeah, I think I'd like to hit this elite. I almost want to hit these question marks, but I guess there's the same number coming from this path. And we could actually even do this one. Let's just do this path. Yeah, and then since this is the new player experience, we're going to get all the tooltips and tutorials again. So I think we can skip those. I think you guys can even skip those. Yeah, so Jawworm, we're starting with that base 6 HP per fight. So goal here is just to not lose more than 6. And we've had a pretty good hand. We had 3 strikes on the turn. He wasn't attacking us. Oh. Yeah, so it's there explaining the, the shuffle your discard into your draw mechanic. Yeah, and we could attack. It doesn't really change anything because he has the 6 block, but should be able to get this guy cleaned up and have a good start to this run. Yeah, and with the vulnerable, I think we'll be able to get him. He'll have some block up, but should be good. Yeah, and this is going to let me highlight the actual unlocks clearly as they come. Because before, since I was already like halfway through the unlocks on the Ironclad or something, I didn't want to show you, here's the first set of unlocks, and it's not the first, it's like the 4th. But now we can actually highlight those as we get them. Okay, so we've got Disarm, Rupture, and Iron Wave. And I actually am a pretty big fan of Disarm when your deck is very thin. Iron Wave is also just a great card. Obviously, Rupture has no support for it right now. We don't have any cards that make us lose health, but it's not out of the question to pick it and then just target that type of deck. But let's just take Disarm. And then here, I think I like unknown events more than enemies. So let's start trying to target those. All right, so the Wing Statue. We've seen this one before. We do not have a card that does 10 or more damage, but we can lose 7 health to remove a card from our deck. And I think we actually will do this. So which one do we want to remove? I think probably a basic strike. I don't think we want to go to less than 4 defense. And then here's the Scrappies. We've seen this guy before as well. When we lose HP, we get a chance at a relic. And it starts out very low. You can take more damage over and over until you get it. I think we will just go all in and just get the relic. Okay, there we go. All right, so yeah, we got the meat on the bone. That's actually great because we've taken a lot of damage to get this, but this functions really well when we are damaged. I think I said tooken. I meant to say taken. I think we want to hit this elite. Go up for this shop. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, what on earth is this? Who buffed his health by 1? Who did this to me? Okay. So the way that you do this fight, if this thing has 12 health, which I've seen twice before, is you just strike, and then defend. You take some damage from this guy, but you can mitigate 5 damage by killing him, meaning that's as good as playing one of your defense. But here... Is it worth it to blow our dexterity potion here? I don't think so, because if we get low health, Mean on the Bone starts activating. I think we disarm the big one, and then possibly just double defend this turn. I mean, we're going to take some overflow damage here. I think it's fine. We'll take 3, but then hopefully they aren't both attacking next turn, and we have a better window to attack. Alright, yeah, exactly. So let's say... I think we just want to take him out. I can't imagine it makes sense to put vulnerable on him, but then have to keep like working around him while trying to kill the big one. Okay, excellent. Yeah, if he keeps not attacking us, this fight will go pretty well. Yeah, and this new Ascension mode, right? So this is why we're switching to the beta, and why I'm now suddenly, you know, no unlocks at all. The reason we're switching is to unlock Ascension mode. We have to beat every boss to unlock Ascension mode, so we're going to work our way back up to that point. Ascension mode, you start not in Ascension mode, and then you can like turn on Ascension mode. And once you do that, you're basically at like level 1 Ascension mode. And what that does is it makes the game harder. And then I'm not terribly certain how you unlock like level 2 of Ascension mode, but there are like 6 levels of Ascension mode. And I believe what it is that it just makes the game harder. And every step up makes it incrementally even harder. I think we like Iron Wave. Rage would be good if we had more attack cards, but we got rid of a strike. Let's just get this. So the first one I think is something like more elite spawn, or maybe like elites are tougher or something. Do we want to become cursed? With doubt, which I think is the one that, yeah, it gives you weak at the end of your turn. If the elite that we're fighting is the knob, who you need to damage really quickly, we might be in a lot of trouble if we take this. We have the poison potion. 6 poison, and then we can use the dexterity potion too if we really, really want to. I'm very tempted to get this because I know we had a shop en route. Let's try it and just hope we don't get absolutely destroyed. Okay, so it's artifacts. I think the doubt isn't as much of a total disaster against the artifact guys. Let's see. This one has the least health, so I think what we'll do is defend Iron Wave Strike to go in on him. The other option is we could maybe bash Iron Wave, and then we could poison him. And you know what? I think we actually want to, I think we want to activate the dexterity here, and that makes it us only take 1 as long as we Iron Wave, so that gives us a lot more leeway. And then the question is, do we bash or do we strike here? We can't commit the poison potion unless we get rid of their artifact, negates 1 debuff, but I don't know if we care. There's 3 separate bodies, so being able to debuff them isn't as impactful, because you're going to kill them, and then it doesn't matter that they had a debuff. If this was one guy with 120 health, that'd be very different. So let's just start attacking him a lot. And these are the guys that give us that dazed debuff, I believe, right? Yeah. Or debuff, I guess I should say status card. Okay, so here, we could actually use like the potion in order to be able to disarm one of them. The nice thing about that is we get this disarm out of our deck because it's kind of a dead draw. I think we're definitely defending twice this turn, because we can't kill him with damage anyway. And that gets us 14. So the question is, do we poison potion this one in order to be able to use disarm, or do we disarm this one in order to be able to poison him? think we might just poison this one. We can kind of read this as dealing 11 damage. So he'd be effectively at 10. Because we just have to get 2 more hits on him. Like 2 more strikes in, and then he'll die to the second tick of poison. I think we want to get rid of him quicker. We'll take some more damage in the meantime, but let's do that. That also means that we don't have to draw that exhaust again. We will take a lot of damage this turn, though. I think we're okay with that, though, with the meat on the bone. Yeah, so here's Doubt. Doubt's the really nasty one that we picked up. Unfortunately, we're not going to get this guy this turn. And we'll be weak next turn. But I think... Yeah, that guy I think is actually just dead to poison next turn anyway. So it's still working out pretty well. And here we just have to thank our lucky stars that those dazed cards disappear. They have ethereal, so they delete themselves after drawn. Otherwise our deck would really be stacking up. So he's not swinging 8, he's dead. He's dead to his 4 poison. So we can block 7 and then try to get him. Well, actually, I guess we want to get this one. That one's weaker. I think we will bash here. What on earth? Okay, Google. Stop. I should just unplug that thing. What did... I was like silent right before it activated. There's a ghost in my Google. Okay. I think there's no world where we don't Iron Wave and defend. Take 2 damage. Yeah, as soon as we get this one, I think we can stop taking damage if we want. We might want to go down to 40, though. There's a world where we want to go down to exactly 40, which is effectively 52, because of the meat on the bone. So we'd actually gain like 3 health if we landed exactly on 40, which I don't know if we can swing. We may be able to do this. I think it makes sense to defend this turn, though. Yeah, because this will put us to... Alright, yeah. This will put us to 48, and then we can just take a full hit next, and then hope we can kill him the next turn. But the problem is that hope we can kill him the next turn. That's sort of like the big question. So we'll try to take 0 until we take a full hit of 8. We'll try to not take 1. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, and I keep drawing that doubt card that makes me weak. It's gonna make this take a while. Okay, so here we definitely have to take 8, so there's not even a question about it. But that should mean we've got more defense in the rest of our deck, so maybe we're fine. Because yeah, now we're at 40, which is effectively 52 because of meat on the bone. So now we want to not take any more damage. We could take 1 extra damage to bash him this turn. Oh, no, he still has his artifact stack. We never took care of that. I say we do this. Okay, good. And we can just attack here. And then I think he's... Yeah, even though we're weakened, I think he's dead to even 1 strike next turn. So I think we got it. Perfect. Yeah, so we're going to beat him, and then we're going to go to 58 health. Yeah. Alright, so Molten Egg. Upon pickup, choose and upgrade an attack. Yeah, so I think that has to go on the bash or the Iron Wave. The bash is definitely tempting. Just like 3 turns of vulnerability, that's very big. The Iron Wave... I'm not as tempted to do that. I mean, Iron Wave's very efficient and you're almost always going to be doing it. The nice thing about bash is that extra turn of vulnerability is a ton more damage, though. I think we're more likely to play Iron Wave when we draw it than we are to play bash when we draw bash. I still think bash is correct. It's pretty close in my head, though. Oh, and I did the thing. I did the thing that I always say I shouldn't do, which is if you see one of these that says, like, choose and upgrade, you should always add the card to your deck first, because you can pick them out of order, I believe. And that way, if this was, say, say we wanted to upgrade Cleave, we could. Whenever a card is exhausted, gain 4 block. Don't think we're really going in for that. I think the Iron Wave seems fine. It's just that we only have... we don't even have anything that exhausts itself right now. The other option is the Cleave. I think we take the Iron Wave. Go more of like a block central build. Oh, I don't think I've seen this before. So Purifier. Before you lies an elaborate shrine to a forgotten spirit. And we can remove a card from our deck, and I think we're removing the Doubt. I don't think this is a tough decision. Awesome. Yeah, so now, through hitting 2 unknown events, we are simply net 175 gold. Which is a way of saying they each were giving us like 87.5, I believe. Is that math right? Just pretty good mileage. If every single one of these was just 87 gold, I think you would target them. Oh, this guy's going to be somewhat bad for our deck. Yes, this is the Cultist. The Cultist will do a buff on his first turn always. That buff makes him gain strength every turn. So the longer he lives, the harder he hits. And our deck is not terribly good at killing things. So I think we want to get this Bash out. And then Iron Wave is just strictly better than Defend. And then maybe we can clean him up in the next 2 turns while he's still vulnerable. Well, we're definitely Iron Wave. To mitigate damage, we can disarm. It'll save us 2. He's not just dead, is he? Wait, no, I think he is just dead. Alright, I'm overthinking it. In fact, if he was like within 1 damage of dead, I might have messed that turn up by Iron Waving first. Because I think I had 3 strikes, and strike does 1 more damage. Okay. So... Searing Blow, Reckless Charge, and Clothesline. I don't know if we want any of these. I definitely don't think we want Reckless Charge. I'm not a huge fan of Searing Blow to begin with. If I already had an Armaments in my deck, I might take it. And then Clothesline is an option. The 2 turns a week isn't nothing. It's also efficient. It's, 6 damage per energy. If I were to take a card here, I would be taking Clothesline. I don't know if we are, though. I think we'll take it. I'm very tempted to skip, but I think we will take it, and we'll try to get rid of some of our normal strikes and make our damage more card dense, so we have a lot more defensive options. So we'll probably, when we hit this shop, remove a normal strike. That's basically what I'm saying. Alright, so Bag of Preparation. This is essentially the starting relic for the Silent, except it's not named the same thing. I think it's named Ring of the Snake for the Silent. And then here, I think upgrading in a card is better than doing a fight. We're not going to heal. We're not going to rest at this rest site, but I think using the Smith option is probably better. And what does Clothesline do? Yeah, so it makes it 3 turns a week. That's somewhat tempting. The other one, Disarm's an option. Subtracting like 1 further strength for them for the rest of the fight, that's not nothing. I think we'll take this one. The other option is just like an Iron Wave. I think we'll take Disarm. Because it's going to give us so much mileage on the boss fights. Like taking an extra strength off for the entire fight, and there's so many turns in those. So we'll do this. Our deck's very bad against multi-enemy encounters right now. I'll tell you that. Something jinx myself? Okay. And I learned something recently. This guy says he gets 7 block when he curls up, and it says like once per combat there. I had no idea that was only once. I thought it would just happen again and again and again. So I was sort of unnaturally afraid of how strong that passive was. It's not actually as good as I thought. I think what we may do is use another Defend and then strike this one. Their option is just disarm him and make us take no damage, and we can kind of ignore him safely. I think we want to get the damage going and proc his passive there. Yeah, the best way to fight these guys that I now know is you just tag them once, And then, like, they curl up. And then I don't think they give themselves the passive again. Yeah, see, like, they don't have it now. So now you can just beat on them. Because I think what we'll do is we'll take that one out. But we can do that with double strike. And then I think what we'll do is we'll hit this one with the Iron Wave just to proc his passive. Yeah, it's much more fun fighting these guys when you actually understand how they work. I'll tell you that. Because these guys used to stress me out. I'd be like, okay, well, we're going to proc him once, he's going to get 7 armor, and then I have to make sure I don't do more than 7 damage to get him another 7 armor. And that was not true at all. It's just me overthinking it. Alright, so this guy is going to do the buff. Does that give him curl up again? No, it just gives him more strength. Okay. Well, we can only take one of them out, and this one's swinging more. So that one easily. And then here, we should be able to get this guy since he has 2 health. I would think we can do that much damage. Excellent. Alright, regen potion, we'll take it. And I think Reaper here. Flex and Anger are not terribly good for our deck. Reaper, you can argue, isn't that good for our deck either. But it exhausts itself, so it doesn't make your deck too fat. Just provides you a little bit of healing. It's good against multi-hit fights. There's definitely an option to just ignore it. The turn that you play this will be a relatively bad turn. You kind of make up for that by getting, you know, healing. I do think we want to take this and kind of have the option of somehow trying to make it good later with better cards. And it's really not the end of the world if you just have to play it and you don't get much out of it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so these slimes, strategy is to get them far below half health when you first get them below half health. We're going to disarm this one, I think, this turn. And get as much block as we can up. We're still going to take some damage. But yeah, that disarm will give us a lot of wiggle room when we're trying to sort of, you know, haggle over how much health he should have. Alright, so half 65 is, so yeah, so 33 and up, we're fine. We don't want him below 33 until we're ready. And we're missing an 8 here, which I think we can do 6 of, yeah. So we'll do 6 here and then just double block. And hopefully be able to do a lot of damage next turn. We are weakened, so that will impact that. Okay, so I think we're fine. Reaper doesn't actually make sense here. We're just going to Iron Wave, Strike. Just do as much damage as we can. And that way, when he splits, they only have 19. Yeah, and we did just get out of our weakness, so maybe it makes sense to Reaper defend here. The other option, I guess, yeah, so we could either, like, clothesline this one, defend. That would mitigate some damage because of the weak. But Reaper actually does heal us for 8 here. So that mitigates more damage. So let's just Reaper both. The other thing to evaluate there is we would get more damage on one of them by doing the clothesline. That would have done 12. So that would help us get this one close to death. Yeah, and then here, we cannot kill either of them. So I think we'll just defend, and then we're going to Iron Wave, I guess, this one? I don't know if it matters. Yeah, because the follow-up turn there, we could have taken this guy out if we had dealt 12 to him. I think. 15. Yeah, so we can get him. Yeah, and this deck seems decent. As far as, you know, no unlocks in the game yet. Didn't get any sort of, you know, upgrade from Niao when you started. This feels fine. I bet we can do the first boss just fine. I'm not sure this deck has any sort of gimmick that's really scaling it well towards, you know, endgame. So I'm not sure if that's going to start to become clear as we get more cards. Metallicize is definitely an option here. That's my gut pick. Yeah. All right, we can start going in kind of all in on armor. Metallicize helps with that a lot. So let's try to go in for, you know, cards like Body Slam. Maybe even that like Fortress card or whatever it's called. Barricade? I think it's called Barricade. That makes your armor not fall off at the end of turn. Okay, yeah, so we're going to shop, probably hit the unknown, and then rest for the fight. So here, you should always check these relics first. So Peace Pipe, you can now remove cards from your deck at rest sites. That's actually quite good. That's actually... You have the option of going for like this very, very thin, very precise deck by doing this. And I've never tried anything like that yet, but I've always been excited with the idea. So we might be picking this up. And there's like nothing else that we can get if we do that. But I still think we might do that. And then here's the exact opposite. Whenever you rest, you may add a card to your deck. And then Bronze Scales. Okay. We could definitely go for Peace Pipe and then try to remove a lot of fluff from our deck. The problem is if we do that, we can't get anything else. So what else is there, right? I don't think Secret Weapon makes much sense in this deck. I don't think Trip makes much sense in this deck. Perfected Strike, Kinesis, Flame Barrier is an option. Flex, Rupture. Yeah, I don't think anything here is that great. And since I don't think anything here is that great, I think we're going to choose this Peace Pipe. Yeah, let's try it. Alright, so let's see. I think for now we want to avoid doing these. We don't want to add more cards to our deck. We're going to try to make it like hyper thin. Like hyper thin. Oh, so here we go. I don't think I've seen this before. You enter a corridor full of hypnotizing colored mushrooms. Due to your lack of specialization in mycology, you are unable to identify the specimens. You want to escape but feel oddly compelled to eat a mushroom. Oh, wow. So become cursed parasite? What is this? Okay, well, I half want to do that just to know what the parasite is, because we can just Peace Pipe and remove the parasite, like, next. But I also don't need the 20 health. I want to be able to remove a card that isn't the parasite. I wish it did that thing where it showed you what parasite was over here. My expectation is, like, every time you draw it, you take damage. So it's, like, really, really bad. So let's just do Anger the Mushrooms. Wow, there's 3. That's actually, I think, more than you usually have to fight. I think you usually fight 2. So this could be bad. Okay, so I don't think there's a world where we don't metallicize this turn. I think we metallicize this turn. It just makes all of our turns in the future so much easier. And then we have effectively 3 armor, but we can do 1 Iron Wave to get back to full. And I guess we should probably be targeting the one that's low health. The catch with these guys, when they die, they make you vulnerable. So we probably want to be able to kill at least 2 of them at once. If we kill 1, then 2 of them are swinging at us and we're vulnerable. So I guess for now, we can kind of tunnel vision the weak one. Or the lowest health one. But we probably want to avoid killing him when we have him pretty low. Oh, that's right. They also can buff themselves. This could easily get out of hand. So let's... I'm actually almost tempted to just activate my regen potion. I think we're not, because if we fall below half, we can get meat on the bone health. And the question is, do we just want to kill this one? Because if we kill him, we'll be vulnerable and take, 50% more from these guys, but he's doing more than half of what these guys are doing already. It does make us vulnerable for the next turn too, though. Maybe we just clothesline one and just avoid killing any of them. Maybe we clothesline him. Get him to 1. And strike this one that's also pretty low. I think we actually take less damage here than if we would have just killed him. Because they have this passive Spore Cloud. On death applies vulnerable to you for 2 turns. So if we can avoid that, we want to. Okay, here we go. This is good too. So bash gives us a ton of vulnerable. Here it might be right to actually bash this one. And I believe then strike the other one down. I think we'll bash this one and strike to kill this one, and just make sure we can kill this one. That one is now dead to just strike. And we'll be vulnerable, but I doubt we'll be taking damage from this one. So it'll just be, you know, whatever this guy's swinging. Yeah, so we'll strike him. And then we'll Iron Wave and defend, and we are fine on health then. Yeah, Metallicize is actually really huge in like these long fights. Okay, so if we go down to 40, we become effectively at 52 health again, which is to say there's currently no profit in trying to land on exactly 40. The question is, do we Reaper or do we just do all the damage we can with all 3 attacks? I think we do play Reaper here and strike. We can probably get him next turn after that. He'll be at 13. 13 can be actually relatively hard to deal. Yeah, I think in the interest of not getting slammed super hard, we're actually just going to do more damage. 7's much more manageable. Okay, so we were fine either way, but we kind of lost 4 health for having that hedge, but our risk was much lower. So Odd Mushroom, I wonder if this is specifically a result of this encounter. When vulnerable, take 25% damage, or take 25% more damage rather than... Wait, what? Oh, okay. Take 25% more damage rather than 50. I was reading it as like take an extra 25 on top of 50 because there's a relic that does that to your enemies. And I was like, wait, why would I take that? Ooh, okay. Here we're getting somewhere. So dual wield. Dual wield is really, really good with Metallicize because you can make copies of Metallicize, and then you can use those and start getting like, you know, armor at the end of every turn up. I don't think it makes sense to run True Grit if we're going to try to make our deck really thin, but let's get dual wield and then let's try to like thin out a lot of our deck. So to start with, we're going to Toke and remove a card from our deck. And I think that card might be a basic strike. The other option, wait, hold on. Alright, yeah, so we cannot dual wield on disarm because dual wield cannot duplicate skills. I think we do get rid of a basic strike here. This deck is becoming very defensive and slow. I think we're fine with that. Okay, so this is probably one of the worst guys to fight with a defensive slow deck, the Guardian. If you deal enough damage to him, he'll sort of like retract into a defensive state and get locked up. And that's a lot of the times what you're trying to really do to him. I think we disarm clothesline him here. Metallicize is tempting, but... Well, I mean, he's not attacking this turn, so it's really 1 turn a week for doing that. I can't imagine we don't disarm him. Let's do Metallicize Strike. Oh! Well, yeah, our deck's really not thin enough to try to, like, pull the dual wield combo off. The other thing we could have done was, you know, dual wield. Well, obviously not last turn, but I was saying we could have waited before we used Metallicize until we had dual wield ready, is what I mean. I don't think we regen potion yet. It wouldn't be the worst choice in the world to do it. Yeah, maybe we really should have tried to wait for dual wield on Metallicize. Definitely would have been an option. As crazy as it sounds, I think we actually might just Reaper here, just to get rid of it. I don't think we can afford to not bash, so I guess probably not. Yeah, that Reaper's going to be annoying, though. We're paying 2 energy to get rid of it on a boss fight here, where, like, the fight's going to go long, and the slower you are, the worse off you are. Okay, yeah. We could have dual wielded this turn, but we only could have duplicated a strike, which I don't think is what we're interested in doing. I think if anything, we want to use it on Iron Wall. Or Iron Wave. Yeah, because we can do this. And then if we defend, we're at 7, but we have Metallicized, so we can actually strike here, and then we'll still end at 7 when he attacks us. Yeah, and it doesn't matter how much damage we take in this fight. Oh, and we could dual wield 4 Reaper. Oh, that's crazy, actually. I never thought about that. Let's see. Well, I think this is roughly the same type of choices. So what we can do here is dual wield to copy Iron Wave. So now we have an extra Iron Wave in our deck. This is actually like a permanent copy that like, well, permanent for this fight copy that will like shuffle back into your draw. We'll Iron Wave once, but when we Iron Wave, we profit 2 armor. We're basically at 5, so we're actually going to defend here rather than using the other Iron Wave just to protect our health. It's hard to try to get in for much damage when he has that Thorns on. Yeah, and that -3 strength we gave him, that just wrecks this guy when he does his multi-hits. And I believe if we clothesline him, yeah, that'll go down to 1. We actually could have used Strike there. We only saved 1 damage. I forgot about Metallicize. Probably should have used Strike there. Okay. I don't think we can avoid using Bash. Yeah, and then we're going to get him close-ish to popping. He has like 11 damage he has to take. He's going to get armor here. But if we can do 20 damage, he won't actually hit us for this, you know, this 29 damage attack. Which I think we can. Can we? Because he's vulnerable, right? Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So I think we'll just Iron Wave and then Defend Strike. We could have gotten rid of Reaper that turn. There's a case to be made, we should have. Once we get our deck even more thin, the impact of having 1 extra card is greater. So our deck's not terribly thin right now, so the Reaper isn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah, and we can duplicate an Iron Wave. Iron Wave gives us like 2 armor. We might just clothesline on this turn. Actually, we should probably Bash. Yeah, honestly, we're going to Iron Wave Bash. We're going to take damage, but we want to get that vulnerability. Oh, that was totally the wrong order. I just missed some damage because I applied vulnerable after I hit him with the Iron Wave. Okay. And now seems like a fine turn to use Reaper, just to get rid of it. Yeah, and this is the turn where we want to do as much damage as possible. And then, yeah, you can see that if you only have 1 attack, it doesn't even ask you, it just does it for you. And then here, he's going to hit us hard, because he's going to have armor, and like he takes 23 damage to be, you know, knocked out of his current mode. So we can't actually stop him. I actually think we might just clothesline and defend, just to save as much health as we can. We weren't going to be dealing much damage that turn no matter what, because he had the block up. And then here, he's not actually threatening anything, so we'll just count up our weakness again with clothesline. Okay. Alright, and I think we actually should be able to clean him up here before he switches modes again. We'll take damage to do it because of the Thorns thing, but we actually have like basically like more health than him now almost. Whereas before he started with, you know, 200, and we're like interested in making trades that are like we'll deal 4 damage and take 1, like that sort of ratio. Now we can like almost just go 1 for 1 when swinging. I think it might be fine to just bash. All right, so technically he got out, but kind of. He didn't attack in that. I still count that. All right, so add a card to your deck, and this one is, yeah, so I've confirmed in my mind, these are actually different. Like, the gold banner is like the highest rarity of card. Wow, demon form is actually something we could look to do. Yeah, so we could make a deck that was very, very thin and had a demon form and then a ton of defensive cards, and then just every turn we would hit for 2 more damage with our iron waves. That's not totally out of the question. Usually the challenge with demon form is you're looking to play it on a turn where they're not attacking you and they're buffing themselves, and then you're just relying on your demon form buff was way stronger than their buff. And the challenge with it is that you have to find such a turn, and more often than not, you've got damage incoming. Well, if you're drawing demon form more often because your deck's very thin, you'll get that chance before long. The other snap pick would be Offering. I think Offering is a great card. I think we're going to try demon form, even though, like, this kind of doesn't make sense with the deck we're building yet, but maybe we just make our deck really thin. This is going to be fine. Just demon form and then, like, duplicate our metallicizes and do a bunch of weird stuff. So, Orrery, choose and add 5 cards to your deck. No. Trying to go for thin. Velvet Choker, gain energy at the start of each turn. You cannot play more than 6 cards per turn. We're probably taking this. I mean, when are we playing 6 cards a turn? I think we're taking this. Black Star, elites now drop 2 relics when defeated. Yeah, I mean, it gives you random relics. This is on the first boss, which is when this is, like, infinitely better than taking it on the second boss. My resistance to pick this is because we want to avoid resting at sites so that we can remove cards from our deck. So I think we're going to take the Velvet Choker. And then next like, act, we're going to try to hit as many campsites as we can and actually avoid elites fights so our health can stay high. And try to make a really, really thin deck, and then try to abuse our powers. And start, like, duplicating powers and stuff and doing some weird shenanigans that way. So let's see if this comes together or if I'm trying to do too many things. So, see you then.